So now we have our View app ready, installed. We have installed Tailwind CSS. The third step is going to set up Firebase. Let's head to Firestore. Firebase, actually. Firestore is the database of Firebase. So it uses your Google account. So make sure that you're on the right Google account for it. And then you click on Go to Console, which lets you set up a new Firebase project. So I'm going to click on this, enter a name, chat, let's see. I accept the Firebase terms. Enable Gemini and Firebase. Maybe I'll just keep it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be needing it. Continue. And then it asks for location. I'm not going to change that. I accept the terms and I click on create project. It's going to take a few minutes to set up a project for us. But what we need Firebase for in this project is that it's going to be a database. So you must know there are various kinds of databases out there, and some of them are relational and some of them are non-relational. While some are in a tabular format, others are in a non-tabular format. Firebase, the database that it provides us, Firestore, is in the format of a JSON, wherein we have collections and documents. Our collection is a group of documents and our document is the individual data row that we would need. I'm going to click on continue and it brings me to my project. So this is my project, chat, and these are all the tools that I can use. So here's the Firestore database. I'm not sure why it's taking this long. Yes, but here is my database and I click on create database and it's going to take a default ID and I'm not changing the location. I go to next and here start in production mode, start in test mode. Because this is not a production project, I'm going to keep it in test mode. And then it gives me a few and I click on create. It's provisioning a database for me. The other thing that we're going to be needing Firebase for is authentication. In fact, when we start making our application, authentication is what we will be working on first. So yeah, it set up a database for me. And now I can dive into collections and documents. But we won't do that now. As I just said, we would first work on the authentication part. So I go to build authentication, wherein I click on get started. I would be having a lot of users in the chat app and I want to make sure that only users who have access to the system should be able to chat with each other. So I'm going to go with email password, enable email link, passwordless sign in. We can do that, but for now I'm just going to go with traditional email password. And yep, I think it enabled. And now each time I create a user, I would be able to see them here. Okay, now we have a project ready in Firebase. The next step is we want to link this Firebase project with the View app that we have here. So to do that, we would need to install Firebase SDK. So I'm going to go to the terminal that I have here, and I make sure that I am on the app in which I want to link my Firebase database to, and then I'm going to press npm install Firebase, and then it's installing Firebase SDK for me. This SDK is the one that I'll be connecting to my Vue application, and we'll wait for it to get done. In the meantime, I'm going to go to my VS Code. Inside the source folder, I'm going to create a file, firebase.js. I'll be using this file to handle all Firebase related code. And yeah, Firebase is installed. So I come back to my file, firebase.js. Here I'm going to import initialize app from Firebase/app. Then we're going to go back to our project. I'm going to project overview, and then I'll click on web, and it asks me add Firebase to your web app. This is exactly what I want to do, and so I'll add the name of my web app, register app, and then this is the step wherein npm install Firebase. I've already done that, and then it gives me this code. I'm going to copy this code and I'll paste it as it is here. And then I click on next, and then it asks me to install Firebase CLI. I'm going to copy it, go back to my terminal and paste the command there. It is going to install some Firebase CLI tools that I'll be needing. And then this is some step regarding deployment, deploy to Firebase hosting, wherein I need to follow these steps to deploy my app and to host it. So once this is done, I do Firebase login, allow Firebase to collect CLI and emulator suite. For now, no. I am going to allow it. And then I'm going to continue. So we do Firebase init, and it asks me what I want. So which Firebase feature do you want to set up for this directory? Press space to select. So set data connect, set up a Firebase data connect service. Firestore, configure security rules and indexes. Set up a new GenKit project. Functions, app hosting, configure an app hosting.yml for app hosting, then configure files for Firebase hosting, and optionally set up GitHub Actions deploy. Storage, let's see, and that's it. And then I'm going to press enter to proceed, and then it asks me, so I already have a project, so I'm going to select use an existing project, and then this is the name of my project. I'm going to select that, and then it's completing the setup. Which connector do you want set up a generated SDK for? I'm going to select it, And then which framework would you like to generate SDKs for? So I'm not using React. So I'm just going to select the defaults here. What file should be used for Firestore indexes? Yeah, that's okay. What do you want to use as your public directory? Public. Configure a single page app. No, I already have one. Set up automatic builds and deploys with GitHub. Yes. That's it. So I think our Firebase installation is complete. If there's anything more needed, we'll get back to that. But now I think we can proceed and move ahead with authentication. So to add authentication in this same file, I think I won't be needing analytics, so I'm getting rid of these two lines because I won't be needing analytics. What I need instead is authentication as my first step. So import get auth from Firebase /auth. So this is a module by Firebase that I'm going to need to set up authentication.